In this video, Michael Shapiro of Sgt. Pepper's Wood Fired Catering shares his own pizza journey. He talks about his early influences of pizza and how dropping a card in a fishbowl changed his entire pizza journey. Here's Michael. Albert Grande here from pizzatherapy.com. I'm with Michael Shapiro of Sgt. Pepper's Wood Fired Catering, located in Southern California. How are you doing today?
Great, thank you.
Hey, so let me get right into it, Michael. You grew up in New Jersey, and
I did.
do you have any memories of some of the earliest pizza memories?
I do. Pizza seemed to be a staple at our house. Where I grew up in New Jersey was just outside New York City, and my father being from New York, he'd take us into New York all the time, and it was always the pizza stands on the corners of the main streets there, just getting the pizza and learning how to do the pizza fold, the whole New York style. So those are my earliest memories. And then, even in New Jersey, they came up with the Sicilian pizza, which I guess now is the grandma pizza.
Right.
So,
Can you describe that a little bit for people that don't know what a Sicilian is?
it's kind of a cross between a New York and, if I would say, a Chicago deep dish. So it's kind of like maybe a thinner focaccia bread with your cheese and sauce on top of it and whatever other toppings. It was just a big square. And so we used to get that quite often when that first came out. But
a little bit thicker kind of pizza, a little bit thicker kind of crust.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. How about tomato pies in New Jersey?
New Jersey was, I think, known for, I don't remember the term tomato pies here, but they had the bar pizza, the bar pies, which were really thin crust and more of a cracker kind of thing where the sauce and the cheese went to the edges. And it was much thinner and crispy, very crispy.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's great. I understand Chicago has a bar pizza or a tavern pizza, which is very similar to that. Those are great pizza. Pizza's pizza.
Pizza's pizza.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you get into the pizza business?
So as I was coming down to the end of my career, I decided to go to culinary school because I love to cook, try to learn something. I got to retire early at 55 years old. So what am I going to do the rest of my life? I'm kind of young. Now, my brother's been a chef for 40 plus years, and he always invited me out to Chicago for the annual NRA, the National Restaurant Association food show. So I'd meet him out there because he still lives back east. And we just walk the aisles and he would talk food with his other chefs. And I'm just watching all this going on the floor. And then we decided, since my parents had retired to Vegas, why don't you come out my way and let's go to the Pizza Expo? And so I attended the International Pizza Expo probably about 4 or 5 years ago for the first time, and just fell in love. I mean, who doesn't like pizza? So walking around there, I just felt, wow, this is amazing. And I met Ajit Dharma from Fire Within, and he had a big bowl there and said, anyone that puts their business card in here, we're going to draw names for a scholarship to our pizza school. And lo and behold, a week later, he called and they drew my name.
You won. So pizza by chance.
Pizza by chance. I've never won anything. So I flew out to Denver and went to the school and fell in love with that.
Tell me a little bit about Wood Fired University. What is that about?
So Wood Fired University, it's a great, I would say, they say 4 days. The first night, it's a meet and greet at a coal-fired pizza place, Marco's Pizzeria in downtown Denver. We meet all the other students. And then Saturday and Sunday, you're immersed in it. They have instructors. You're learning everything from the food side, how to make your dough, picking out sauces, stretching the dough, which was always the scariest thing. How do you stretch the dough ball into a round pizza? I was never able to do that. But they cover all the food aspects, the business side, everything down to, your logo, all the permitting and everything. So it's 2 days hands-on. So you're in and out of the kitchen. You're learning how to work the fire. And then on Monday morning, you do your own event
Oh,
and
no
break up
kidding.
in teams and you cater your own event. And they have people from the hotel, from the culinary school. The last time I was there, the construction group that was doing some building behind there, they bring them over and they eat for free.
Yep,
You're catering it for them, and so
sure.
a lot of fun, a lot of fun. They
But
do a great job teaching.
okay. So then what was your next step in the
My
getting
next
into
step,
the pizza business?
yeah, about 2 months later, I was still like, oh, I'd love to do this. And then Ajit and I were in constant communication and talking about which trailer would be right for me because they have different size trailers and they had two different sizes there that you get to use and practice with. So we finally came up with what would be best for me to move on forward and expand, not start small and have to get another one.
Mhm.
And I want to say about 3 months later, I made the purchase and went back a couple months after that to pick it up and attend the school again, uh, and go through it and just keep practicing it and drove it home. And I already had a event booked before I even picked up the trailer. So
Oh, okay. Interesting.
yeah,
So, and here you are, you're a pizza guy. And what was it like doing the
it's
pizza for the first time?
the first time was pretty nerve wracking. I was told the lady hired me to do an open house. She was a realtor. And she said, we're just going to do an open house. And I just want you there for a few hours making pizzas for whoever attends. And it was going to be, for 30, 40 people. I'm like, okay, I can do that, my first time out. And then as it got closer,
Sure.
she calls and says, okay, so I want to talk about a little more. I want to show you where I want you. And oh, by the way, it's not an open house. I'm getting married. And it's a surprise wedding. All these people we invited under the auspices of an open house, they don't know we're getting married. So
Yep.
all of a sudden that went up to 120 people.
Yep. Yep.
And I went into a panic. My first event, they wanted appetizers, salads, pizza, desserts. And I'm like, oh my God, 120 people. I've never done anything like this. But I got a few friends from culinary school and we put it together and knocked it out of the park. And I started getting jobs from them, different people there. It seems like every time I did a job, you'd get two or three more jobs out of that
Yep.
as people fall in love with it and see what you're doing. So it worked out very well. Very
Okay,
well.
that's great. What kind of pizza are you making, Mike?
So it's the Neapolitan style. I've
Hmm.
got probably a dozen different types that I do, but it's all Neapolitan style,
Yep.
which is which is interesting. You'll learn Neapolitan, less is more.
Yep. Yes.
Sometimes,
One of my big
sometimes,
things, less and more. Yes.
but it's hard when you have a staff that likes to pile it on, and have
Yep.
to keep telling them it's a thinner crust. It's too heavy. Less is more in these cases, but
Yeah.
so yeah, and I just kept creating new pizzas, different flavor profiles. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay. Do you have some of your favorite profiles you could share? Some of your favorite pies that you make?
Yeah, absolutely. One of them that I created. So I went to. You're aware of Chris Bianco.
Yes. Yes. Chris Bianco. I've interviewed him. He's a wonderful guy.
Such
Bianco's
a nice man. The
Pizzeria.
only pizza guy ever to win the James Beard Award.
Yes.
So one of my daughters went to school in Arizona, and when I go out there, that's where he's got two restaurants there. And I
Yep.
thought, oh my God, there it is. So we sat down. I had a pizza there that he called the Wise Guy.
Hmm.
It was smoked mozzarella, um, oven roasted onions, sliced Italian sausage. So I bought his cookbook, and in there it had alternatives because I was having trouble finding smoked mozzarella. So I named the pizza the Bianco. I
Excellent.
do I do smoked Gouda as the base with
Hmm.
caramelized onions and sliced Italian sausage. And I met him, was it 2 years ago at the Pizza Expo where he was one of the keynote
Yes,
speakers?
it was 2 years
I,
ago. Yes.
I met him. He signed my book. I told him the whole story. I said, hope you don't mind, but I'm using your name. I named the pizza after you because it was phenomenal and you've been a great inspiration. So that's one that's a big hit
Yep.
on my menu.
Yep. Chris Bianco is a pizza maker's pizza maker. In
Yes.
addition, just being a wonderful guy, willing to share all of his pizza secrets. He does not hold back.
No,
And
he doesn't.
he oozes pizza. It flows through his veins. I mean, he's just a wonderful person.
And I'm glad you said that, because the one thing I've noticed in this pizza business that I've been in for about almost 3 years, everybody shares. This is not something where I can't tell you my secrets. I get phone calls from people met in the class all over the country. What about this? What about that? How did you do this? And I can do the same thing. Everybody's happy to share all their trade secrets. So there really are no trade secrets.
Yeah.
It's a
I think
great
it's really
fraternity.
changed quite a bit over the years of the last few years. But I think before, the earlier pizza guys, their pizza secrets are guarded. They didn't want to share it with anyone. It's no, I'm not going to tell you how I make it. No, it's all proprietary. But I think lately, and I think Pizza Expo has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
People are very forthcoming, and there are just some wonderful pizza makers like John Arena, and of course Peter Reinhardt, Chris Bianco. I could go on and on, but these guys are willing to give you everything they know, and I
Yes,
think
we
they
do.
add to the whole industry rather than keeping little secrets. It's great
Yeah.
to hear you say that.
And it is. And people will say, hey, I have a gig coming up. I can't handle it by myself. Can you help out? Or I can't do it. Do you want it? No one's afraid of losing any kind of business or anything. So it's great. I share recipes with a couple different guys that I got to know pretty well, from different states. And we share those recipes. I saw someone I want to say it was Indiana. He had a Cajun style pizza,
Mhm.
and he shared it, sent me the recipe, even for the secret sauce and everything. So it's great to share. I have a pizza where I have a Poblano cream sauce as my base, and I'm happy to always share that with whoever asked for it. So yeah, it's really great to work with different people and different ideas.
Well, let's get into it a bit. Tell me a little bit about the cream sauce.
Well, I do a Southwestern style pizza. So I do a base of the Poblano cream sauce, which is cream that I warm with garlic, and then I have roasted poblanos chopped up that I put in there, a little chicken stock, and then you blend it up and add some sour cream, some cumin, salt and pepper, and it's a great base for it. I do seasoned ground beef, corn, a mix of pepper jack and mozzarella, and then top it. And when it comes out of the oven, finish it off with cilantro, chopped cilantro. And
Oh,
everybody's afraid of the pizza. When I do weddings, I tell the people, order this pizza. So we'll get there, and whether it's a wedding or birthday party, and when the first person takes that bite out of it, that's all they want, is they keep coming back for that.
yep,
So, it's a little
yep.
scary when you see it on a menu, poblano cream sauce, but it's got just a tad of a bite, but not overly spicy, and it's just so flavorful.
Oh,
So
that's a
that's
great secret. Hey,
my
let me ask you this. What's your definition of great pizza? What makes pizza great? I mean, there's so much about pizza, flour, water, salt, yeast, that's it. But people do it. For example, Chris Bianco, John Arena, they'll create a pizza that's just incredible. What is your take on what makes pizza great?
Well, first of all, I love bread. So anytime you have any kind of bread mixed with cheese and sauce, you can't go wrong. Um, I love the thinner crust pizza. These pizzas, the Neapolitan style, where they're crispy on the outside and chewy
Yep.
on the inside. So if the dough is just right, you get that effect. And the sauce and the cheese on top is kind of a bonus. But biting into that nice dough, with the crunch and then the chew, it's phenomenal. It's so warm. It's so comforting. I mean, it's got to be the greatest comfort food.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is certainly true. Can you tell me a little bit about your oven itself? You bought it from Fire Within.
Yes, it's
Uh,
a Forno Bravo oven that is mounted to a trailer, which Fire Within builds out there in Colorado, and then they mount the oven on top of it. It's a 42-inch deck, the oven,
mhm.
Italian stone. Um, And then the trailer that it sits on, has storage under the oven, has a front area where you can put your prep station. It's a 5 foot, prep table, refrigerated, so
Yep.
you can store your food, and that's where you build your pizzas on. Um, I don't know what else
You've been pretty happy with it. How many pizzas can you put in there at a time?
I mean, I've watched some of the pros do it, and they're
Yep.
doing 10 at a time. I
Whoa.
It depends where I put the fire.
Mhm.
Now, we're taught to put the fire on either the left side or the right side, so the thermals go around and don't really escape out the front, as much. I most of the time put the fire directly in the back because everybody
Okay.
wants to come and watch and they want to see the fire.
Sure.
So
Sure.
doing that, I can do six. I'll do six pizzas at one time.
Yep.
So as one comes out, another one's going in. So I generally always have six pizzas in there. If you put it to the side, you can do 8 to 10,
Yep.
but then reaching all the way to the back of the oven, and
Yep.
people they're straining to see.
Sure.
Part of the oven and the intrigue is, especially with men, and I always feel bad at the parties. The wives are in the backyard, having cocktails, eating. The guys are out front. It's kind of that man fire food thing. So
Yep.
they're
Yep.
watching. They want to see the fire, and they want to see you put wood in the fire, and there's no gas. I'm like, no, this is all wood.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
they like to see the flame in the back of it. So I've done that. But even doing that, I do six at a time. We knock
Okay.
out probably about 80 an hour.
Wow. Wow. And so, wood fired oven, the deck is really, really hot. So
Yes.
you're cranking the pizzas right out. How long does it take to cook a pizza?
So it takes about 2 hours for me to get the oven up to temp.
Yep. Oh, that's
Um,
important.
yeah, you start the fire and I let it come up to temperature slowly. So about 2 hours, it's all ready to go. And then I get the deck about 700 degrees, and the dome I always measure is about 1100 degrees. So I figure it's a 900-degree oven, and the
Yep.
pizzas are in there for about 90 seconds. So it's
Yep.
fast.
Yep.
I mean, it's so fast that the other day someone was trying to talk to me, and I turned my back to them, and they're like, "Why'd you turn away from me?" You can't turn your back on that pizza. I mean, it's
Right.
cooking so
Right.
fast. You have to
Right.
keep spinning them.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
90 seconds or so. People are amazed how fast they come out.
Yep. Yeah, that's incredible. That's amazing. What tips would you have, Michael, for someone wanting to get into the pizza business?
There's, you got to be willing to work hard. It is a lot of work. There's a
Hmm.
lot of prep, and then there's a lot of cleaning afterwards. Um, Knowing people, I had some jobs booked beforehand. I don't do any advertising, so everything's by word of mouth, except on Facebook. I put it out there because I started a drive-through when COVID started.
Hmm.
And I put my trailer. I have a circular drive, so I put it on one end, and I would do it a couple times a month. Now I'm slowing down to once a month,
Yep.
where I'd advertise a week before on Facebook or Instagram. People pre-order their pizzas, so when they pull up, they pick a time slot. When they pull up, we put the pizza in the oven. They wait 2 minutes. They get a pizza and a dessert. We put it in the box. Off they go. So being creative, being willing to try new things, and be open to different ideas.
Yep. Okay, that's great. How about some tips for the home pizza maker?
um, the home pizza maker, and I test all my pizzas in my own oven.
Yep.
So I do, because it's hard. The way I simulate the temperature is I put a cast iron skillet on the stove top and get it hot, and I'll stretch the dough and I'll put it in the cast iron skillet, and I'll build a pizza while it's in the skillet. And once the bottom is almost ready to go, then I put it in the oven at 550 degrees, as high as it goes,
Yep.
and let it come out. So, or you can do a pizza stone, let that pizza stone sit in there as long as you can, but just play with it.
Yeah.
Pizza. Once you get the, if you have a good round dough ball, this is the thing I learned.
All
It's
right.
almost impossible not to get it round when you stretch it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand in the beginning what proofing was until I went to school. That dough ball's got to relax for a little while, otherwise it's going to fight back and shrink. So, you let it relax for a little bit, stretch it out, put it on a nice stone, and throw whatever toppings you want on there and go with it. So yeah, it's just a matter of playing around with it. It doesn't take a lot to get that going.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Hey, Michael, thanks a lot for all your tips and your great story about getting into pizza. Um, let's talk about a little bit Fire Within University. I know they have a couple of sessions during the year, and we'll give them a shout out and hope people can check them out and check out the Fire Within. And how can people contact you? You said you're on Facebook.
Yes, I'm on Facebook. It's SGT with no period, Sergeant Pepper's Wood Fired Catering. My website is also Sergeant Pepper's Wood Fired Catering, long names.com. I'm on Instagram, and they can contact me through there. The Fire Within, I will say this, the shout out to them. Everything that I do, even 3 years later, is based on what I learned there. I tweak something here and there, but they have it down as such a science that why fix change anything? It works so well. Ajit and his crew, they're always there. They'll answer any questions. I talk to them all the time if I have a question, or he'll call me, asking if I can give a quick tip or talk to the class.
Yeah,
it's so much fun, and those guys are great. You will walk out of there after those 4 days, and you will feel so confident that anybody could do this.
Yep. And it's more than just making pizza. I mean, it's part of it is the community and sharing the pizza love, and
it is the community, and they teach you that the whole community of fire, how this all started. You have fire, you have dough, and then you have whatever you want to put on that thing. So you combine all that. People love talking. I mean, my staff work in restaurants, and when I say I have a job coming up, they all take the day off because they have more fun making pizza and all the people around you. It's such a great community. Everybody loves what you do. They always say, "This is the greatest pizza I've ever had in my life." And my staff says, "Wow, you're really good." And I'm thinking, it's not so much me, it's the oven.
Yep.
The oven works such magic when you have an oven that hot. But check out my website, check out Fire Within. It's worth a trip out there to go to their school. I mean, they're fantastic. They really are. No pushy sales. They'll talk to you about it, but they don't push anything. They want to make sure it's right for you before they sell anything.
Okay, that's great. And I'll put links below this video where you can contact the Fire Within and Michael. And I wish you all the best, Michael, in all your pizza adventures. Thank you so much for spending time with me.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure. I've heard all about you. I follow you on over the internet, and finally I get to meet you face to face.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Michael, for sharing your pizza journey with us. You can find out more about Michael at Sergeant Pepper's woodfiredcatering.com, at his website, and on Facebook. And you can find out more about Wood Fired University at firewithin.com. I'll put all links below this video. Until next time, show a little pizza love and subscribe. Pizza on Earth, goodwill to all.